Hey everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update video. I hope that you guys are doing really wonderful this morning, and so we will be taking a look at what is currently happening across the Caribbean and surrounding areas. There are a couple of tropical waves out there in the Atlantic, and we'll also be talking about Hurricane Calvin over in the Eastern Pacific. And so before I go into details, please do subscribe if you haven't yet done so and tap the bell so that you never miss an important update. Alright, so let us go ahead and kickstart things with Calvin. So Calvin is weakening as anticipated because it is making its way into cooler waters as well as drier and more stable conditions. And so those are helping to induce weakening of the cyclone. And as of the latest update here, we can see that the maximum sustained winds are 80 miles per hour and it is moving to the west-northwest at 17 miles per hour. So it will gradually move a bit faster, especially as it is expected to lose tropical storm status. But now we're seeing a change in the track here, and this is what I was talking about in previous update videos, that what we saw then wasn't solid because there could be changes. The track could shift a bit to the north or to the south. We're seeing somewhat of a southward shift here, but nevertheless, if it has enough activity, it could still bring impacts as we're going to be heading into the middle part of this week to some of the islands of Hawaii. So only time will tell what's going to be happening, and I will continue to keep you posted. Let's see if it is going to be sustained enough activity. But now let's go ahead and hop over into the Atlantic Basin. And so there we have tropical storms, some tropical storm Dawn up there, and we can see that the cyclone is looking rather disheveled right now, and it is barely hanging on. So it currently has maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour, and it is making its way to the north at 7 miles per hour. So it is expected to weaken to a subtropical depression as we're going to be heading into early tomorrow morning. However, it will start to move on a southward track, and so that is going to allow it to re-enter the warmer waters, not very warm, but marginally conducive conditions to re-intensify. And so we're seeing that it is expected to regain subtropical storm status as we head to the latter part of this week. And so it is going to be lingering out there like that for some time, not a threat to land. And so as we return to the satellite imagery of the North Atlantic Basin, we can see that there is some activity in some spots, and there are a couple of tropical waves out there. One is exiting the Caribbean, about to move over into the Eastern Pacific, and there is another over in the Eastern Caribbean, and two are out in the main development region. And with one that is currently approaching the Lesser Antilles, there is hardly any activity in association with it. The one that is in the vicinity of the Cabo Verde Islands is producing some activity within the area, but all that dry air and dust is up ahead for it, and let's see if it is going to be managing to sustain activity. But what is happening is that all of this dry air and dust is inducing these dry, stable conditions, and that does not favor the development of showers and thunderstorms. So that is why these waves are struggling. There's a plethora of dry air and dust out there. Let's go on to the map. Here we can see it looking very colorful closer to the coast of Africa, and that is indicating that abundant dry air. So let's see if this wave is going to be managing to keep itself together, and let's see if it is even going to be dumping any substantial rain across some parts of the Eastern Caribbean when it approaches later this week. And so let's take a look at what is happening across the Caribbean though, and we can see that there's lots of activity noted in parts of Central America going down to Colombia, and even some cloud coverage across the east. It is pretty overcast right now for some spots, and that is because of these are the remnants of all the shower and thunderstorm activity that took place in the region yesterday. And again, the tropical wave is in the area, but the dry air is inhibiting it from producing any major activity right now. Things currently in the clear for Jamaica, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Yucatan, going up to the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands. But as we head through today, there might be the development of some showers and thunderstorms. Let's go on to the rainfall total maps, and we are starting out with GFS. So as we head throughout today, we can see that things are looking very colorful down in parts of Central America and northern South America. So as I said, there's lots of activity happening there right now. So flooding is also likely across some spots. And in the case of heavy rainfall, which triggers flooding, please do not take any unnecessary risks. Going over into the eastern islands, maybe there will be some showers and thunderstorms at times. Nothing too crazy expected. Similar story for parts of the northern Caribbean, Jamaica, Hispaniola, also going to Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands. Things should be in the clear for the Cayman Islands, most of Cuba, heading to the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands, and even for majority of the Yucatan. And then as we look at the Euro model here, Euro is also in agreement with this. All this rainfall activity expected across parts of Central America, going to Colombia, Venezuela, even for some spots in Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, some isolated activity for the east and parts of the northern Caribbean as well. So we see an agreement here with these two models in terms of the rainfall as we're going to be progressing throughout today. And so guys, now I want to bring you to the latest in terms of the sea surface temperature map. So these are the latest values in degrees Celsius. For the North Atlantic, overall it is above average with these sea surface temperatures that we are seeing here. And even in some spots, the Gulf of Mexico, the Northwest Caribbean, off the southeast coast of the US, up to 31 and even 32 degrees Celsius in some spots. And if we know anything about the Gulf of Mexico, we know that it is notorious for producing some destructive cyclones that rapidly intensify. The most recent was Ian of last year. So could we see something else as that this year? I would say that it is certainly possible, especially as we head to the latter part of August and into September. And so I urge you guys to ensure that you have your plans in place, because once things are going to be conducive out there, once all other conditions are going to be conducive, there's lots of moisture and the wind shear is favorable enough to allow for intensification, we can expect to see some crazy storms this hurricane season. But I'm here to keep you guys posted at all times so that you're not taken by surprise. And that is what I wanted to share with you in this update. And so if you have any questions, guys, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I will respond as best and as soon as I can. And as always, remember to be weatherwise.